Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how I make my pastel type resin bases, kind of showing you my technique and all that sort of thing. Everybody seems to like my resin pieces and they always ask for tutorials on them, so here it is. Basically I'm using easy cast resin and I mixed 2 equal parts of it. You want to mix fully for around 10 or 15 minutes just to make sure it's fully mixed until it's all clear and there's no weird strings like you can see there. I get my resin from Amazon, but I have also bought from eBay, and so that's where I get it from. I will leave a frequently asked questions type thing in the description as well. Basically, for the first layer, I put my sticker in this layer, and I pour a very thin layer into the moulds. I'm using silicone cupcake moulds here, and these were from Paper Chase, but you can probably find similar ones online. So you just basically want to put a nice thin layer in the bottom of your moulds. I like using cupcake bases because they are very easy to use with resin and they make a nice interesting shape. I just like the way the pieces look with these moulds. You can use any moulds you like, of course. Now I put in my stickers. These Molang stickers I got from eBay. Just basically place the sticker into the resin. If you're using puffy stickers like this one is, it will probably move about a bit, so you want to look after it and keep moving it back into position where you want it to be. These Pokemon stickers I got from a local anime shop. You could probably find them online, just search eBay or something. So now I'm using some mini cupcake bases. I got these from itscute.com. I believe you can also get them from Paper Pastels, and I also believe that they are a Daiso brand, so you may be able to get them from Daiso if you have one near you. And I'm using some Jack Skellington stickers that I got from a trade. I really can't remember who gave me them, and I'm sorry. And I don't know where you can get these from. I wish I did because I want some more. Okay, so just move any stickers back into position once you've done all your sticker placing. Then I'm using a straw just to get rid of some air bubbles. I think the straw is the easiest way to get rid of air bubbles. You can use a lighter or like a heat tool or something, but those are a bit more dangerous, and I think especially for beginners a straw is best. These sparkles I got from Crafter's Delights, and these ones I got from eBay. These are nail art supplies. You can just find them by searching nail art, confetti or something into eBay. And I just sprinkle these into the resin after it's gotten a little tacky. That usually happens around half an hour to an hour after you pour your resin. You can keep checking on your resin just by poking with your lollipop stick or stir stick and to see if it's sticky or tacky yet. And you can put in any glitter or any sprinkles, confetti, anything that you want to put in, and it shouldn't sink too much into the bottom. If you put it in too early, it will all sink to the bottom. That's fine if you want that look, but I wanted them to be on the same level, like on the back of the sticker, if that makes any sense. It probably doesn't. This is the second time I've had to record this voiceover, and this video is a very long video, so I'm probably not making any sense anymore. I'm so sorry. So once you've done that, you can leave these to cure for 24 hours. They will be ready after 12 hours though if you want to do it sooner. As you can see, these are hard, but you don't want to pop these out yet unless you want transparent pieces, of course. So I'm going to do a glitter layer after this. So as you can see, I'm using a different mold, but the concept and the technique is still the same. Add a layer of resin into the back, around the same thickness as your first layer. And then I'm going to be using Higgins White Waterproof ink. This is the same ink that Tattooed Cookie or Tattooed Chrissy uses. I will leave a link to her video in the description that tells you all about this ink. You can get it from eBay, which is where I got it from. And it's very cheap and very good, I think. I'm also going to be adding some glitter. This is Martha Stewart glitter, but you can use absolutely any glitter you want. I use a mixture of tinsel glitter and fine glitter, but again, you can use any type of glitter you would like. I find that fine glitter is the thing that colours the resin most, and the tinsel glitter just adds a lot of sparkle. And I got these glitters from eBay. I managed to find a massive set that somebody was auctioning. It was a set of 60, and it was for a pretty good price actually. So I managed to get those. I don't know if there will be such a big set on eBay again. But anyway, as you can see, I'm mixing in the glitter and resin the glitter and ink in the resin, as you can see inside the mold. Mix it in fully so the ink is all fully mixed in. And the glitter will sink to the bottom of this layer, which means that when you pop the piece out, you will see all the sparkles and stuff on the very front of your piece. And when you turn it over, it will be paler on the back. So as you can see, I did that to all of these pieces as well. Don't forget to pop any air bubbles if you do have any. And this is what they come out like. The molds are not shiny, so the pieces will not come out shiny, which is why we will be doming the tops. But if you use a mold that is shiny, you don't have to bother with doing that, and you can just dome the back. Now I'm going to be adding some eye screws. You need some pliers and some glue. I'm using a 6000. Basically just going to screw these in like using a screwdriver. I do have a separate video on doing eye screws like this. I will obviously link all of my previous resin tutorials in the description for you to watch as well. But you're basically just going to screw it in, take it back out, put some glue on and screw it back in. And now we're going to dome the tops. So basically you're just going to put some resin onto your stir stick and carefully pour it on top. You want to go up to the edges, but you don't want to go over the edges because then the resin will spill over. But if the resin does spill over when doing the front, it isn't too much of a disaster and you can fix it. I will show you how to do that just after this section of the video. But I always dome the tops before I do the bottoms, because if you overspill and it goes onto the bottom, it's fine, you can cover it up by doming the bottom. And doming the bottom is easier than doing the top. But if you do it the other way around, you might mess up your doming. Once you get practice of it, you can start pouring it straight from the cup instead of just using the stir stick, and you can gauge how much resin each piece will use when doming. But again, that takes practice, and it's probably easiest just to do it very carefully and do it very slowly at the start, using tiny pieces of resin, just in case you do make a mistake. Now I'm just using a straw again just to get rid of some air bubbles on the top. As you can see, the pieces are already so much shinier when you start doming them. I really like how it's almost as if putting on glasses and it just totally focuses everything. It's really cool. So as you can see, this one overspilled. because I did this on a silicone mold and not my table, I can easily take this off the mold. Don't ever do this on your table, I've made that mistake before. So basically all you're going to do is take a pair of scissors, any kind of scissors will do, and just cut off any of the excess resin. This will leave it looking a bit uneven and it won't look as perfect as it would if you didn't spill over. But then I'm just using a nail file. You can also use sandpaper, or a Dremel tool will probably work very well. And you can just sand down the edges to make them less rough. Again, it still won't look perfect, but it will look a lot better than it did before. So this is how the pieces turn out after they've been domed. As you can see, they're shiny, very clear, sparkly again. And I just really like the way that the doming turns out. And now I'm just going to turn over my pieces so I can dome the backs of them as well. I'm using some iridescent powder or pearlescent powder. This is Snazaroo brand. I got this from Hobbycraft, but you can probably get Pearlex powders or something similar from a craft store or eBay or something like that. And you can also use powdered eyeshadow as well for a similar effect, although I've never used it myself. I'm also using a tiny spoon from a pop and cooking kit because it's very useful. I think it was a pizza kit. Anyway, I just pour a little bit of the powder into my resin and mix it up, and it makes the resin look really nice and pretty. You can of course dome the back with clear resin. You can dome the back by adding a bit of ink into it, make it white or any colour you want depending on what you add to it. But I like using the pearl powders recently because it just looks really pretty. So as you can see, after it's all mixed in, make sure it's mixed in fully, and then you can add it to your pieces, just like doming the front. Except doming the back, your pieces have a kind of bowl shape to them and the edges sort of bend upwards a bit, which makes doming the back so much easier because the resin is much less likely to spill over. You still have to be careful, of course, because it can still spill over, but it's much less likely to, and it's a bit easier to do the back. So again, just push the resin up to the edges but not over the edges. And if when you spilled over on the front, if it does leave a bit of resin on the back, just push the resin on top of the weird dome bit on the back and it will cover it up a bit. It won't cover it fully, but it will do a pretty good job. So after you've domed your pieces, you can leave these for 24 hours. I would suggest leaving them for at least 24 hours before touching them because they might still be a bit sticky. And then your pieces should be ready to use. They might still be a bit rough around the edges. Just take a nail file and just file down the edges just so they're not rough and so they are nice and smooth. With these pieces, the edges around the edge will not be shiny because of the molds. If you want those to be shiny, you can use glaze and paint glaze around the edges just to make those shiny as well. I don't usually bother, but it is something you can do if you want to. For the Jack Skellington pieces, I actually added a bit of black glitter. Well, it's called obsidian. It's kind of like a grey-black colour. Because I really liked the colour on the back of the pieces itself. So I added some of this into the pearl resin and mixed it all up, and I just basically domed the back with that resin. So that is basically it. I mean, I will be leaving frequently asked questions and things like that in the description, so please read that because I probably won't answer comments asking me things if I've already answered them. That obviously makes sense because I'm very lazy. Anyway, so I'm sorry this video is super long and the lighting is pretty bad as well because I filmed this at night because that is usually the time I do my resin. But I hope it was helpful for some of you guys. I will leave the links to my previous resin tutorials in the description as well, so you can check those out for more information about things. I'll try and leave links to where I get some things in the description as well, but please don't ask like questions like where do you get your stickers, because I get them from a million different places, so you have to be more specific about which sticker you're talking about. But I have done lots of haul videos where I've gotten stickers in the past, so I would suggest watching some of those, and you can see where I have gotten some of my stickers. But honestly, eBay is the best place to get everything. It's pretty cheap for some things at least, and you can get pretty much anything you want. So yeah, I think that's all I really have to say. Anything else will be added on screen by text. So you get to see my finished pieces in my next resin update. I don't know when that will be, but I hope you're looking forward to it, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.